You're listening to the Goof Norton Radio Show.
He's the best of the best of the best.
He has a wonderful voice.
If you don't like him,
you don't have a soul.
I'm sure your sister will.
Hey, babe, you want to go out?
You only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Whoa, whoa. Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home. You only know you love her when you let her go. But you let her go. Look, see, I remember when I met you as a soul.
Hello everybody, my name is Goof Norton and welcome back to another broadcast of the Goof Norton Radio Show. I hope you guys are all out there enjoying the nice weather, wherever you are. I know I am. In fact, something about this weather, it got so hot today that my rear view mirror, like the heat melted off my rear view mirror somehow, some way. I got in my car and I closed the door and it just fell off and I was like, oh no, that's not good. Because it's so hot out here. And I live in the freaking Midwest. I don't understand how that's even possible. But whatever, it happened. I'll probably get it back stuck again after it cools down. And I'll probably put a video up too. I took like an 8-second clip that shows me holding it. And I had to kind of hold that the whole way or the whole drive home. So that was an interesting little adventure. So I wouldn't swing back and forth. Hopefully nobody else saw it while I was driving. I'm pretty sure somebody saw it, but hopefully not a lot of people saw it because that was funny. I'm kind of glad nobody was driving behind me as I was on my way home because I have to take like a highway to get to my house. But nobody was behind me, so I kind of got those smooth transitions. Could switch lanes pretty easily. But yeah, that's one mirror down. That kind of sucks. But other than that, my day's been good. Hopefully you guys' day is going well wherever you may be listening to this, whenever you may be listening to this. So I was at work, just working away. I work in a warehouse, so I have some time where I'm by myself, slinging boxes and whatnot. I have time to think about a lot of stuff. Like most of the time, I'm thinking about what I could say on the show, what I'm talking about here. And today, quite a lot of things kind of came through my head. First and foremost, it's mostly about this show and about it changing because it's going to change pretty soon. And I mean that in like terms of like weeks, maybe months, but it's going to change. There are going to be some big changes coming on. I'm working to make this podcast into more of a professional podcast. This is a career I'm pursuing, trying to make podcasts great again. Actually, if someone could get on that for me, can somebody actually look that up and like put that on a hat design or something and a t-shirt and like send those pictures to me? Like, can someone please get on that for me? I would greatly appreciate that because that actually may be something I might do in the future. I might do something with that. That's it's kind of a funny idea. Those shirts, I think those would sell. Maybe given the right context, making podcasts great again. That'd be hilarious. But no, I would like to make the show more professional because this is going to be my career podcasting. And I would love to go legit with this podcast that I'm currently doing because I love doing this. This is a wonderful thing for me. I've been told by plenty of people, strangers, freaking people I know. I've been told by my commanders and whatnot that, hey, you got a voice for radio. I'm like, hope that's not weird. I'm like, nah, that's not weird. It's all good. And I guess I'm going to take advantage of that. I mean, I've already been told plenty of times. I don't need any more people to tell me. I guess I'll kind of pursue it, see where it goes. But I'm going to go at it not full speed, but go at it 100%. I'm not going to really lack on it. I'm going to do my best to be good at it. Because I want to make this show more like a radio show because I love radio. If you don't know that already, I love radio. I love radio shows. Majority of my childhood was spent listening to radio shows, especially local ones and stuff like that. And some of the aspects of that I want to like integrate here, like something simple as like people calling in. Like I love that. I absolutely love that when that happens on a radio show. People ask me about that. People have asked me about that in the past of like, what do you mean by that? If you have ever listened to any radio show ever in your life, you know that there are people that call in to answer questions, to give their 2 cents on whatever topic they may be talking about. not just having like a co-host there the whole time, but like that's gonna happen. I'm gonna have a co-host eventually. I'm working on getting that, but to have people just call in, they give their 2 cents. I feel like I'm doing that because I feel like that's a little bit more interactive with the audience instead of just reading comments on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. That's interactive because I answer those usually. That's interactive, but this is a little bit more interactive because I actually get to hear your voices, and you actually get to talk with me directly instead of just through comments and whatnot. And this is a great way to get more people on the show because you get the audience involved. You get to have them actually talk on the show and get their opinions heard out there and whatnot. And I feel like that's a bit better because sometimes with some people's comments, the way they're worded, it doesn't sound the same in my head as I think that they're gonna say it. Because sometimes that you get those comments that happen that are like that, and they don't mean to sound mean, or they don't, they mean to sound a certain way, but it's hard to express that sometimes. But that's what call-ins are for. You can get, because you never know what kind of people you're gonna get. You can get funny people, you can get serious people. It adds a different element to the podcast or the show that makes it awesome. That's what I love about radio shows. You have people call in because it's really interactive to your audience. It lets them know that you are listening to them, and that you are paying attention. That's what I love about it. So, and radio's dying now. That's why I'm getting into podcast instead of radio. Radio's not as popular as it used to be. What the fudge? Stupid microphone. It fell. And this is the next best thing to radio is podcast, because podcasts are the future. Podcasts are everywhere. In fact, on my Android phone, because I don't use iPhone, and the Google Play Store, the Google Play Music, you can look up tons of podcasts, sports podcasts, gaming podcasts, whatever. If you really are interested in it, I'm pretty sure there's a podcast out there about it somewhere. If not, then there's your opening to get on that, and start talking about it. But I also want to add a co-host, because I do that, and all I have to do is just upload the video to the channel, or to wherever website I decide to upload these to. And it's better for conversations and stuff like that when I get on certain topics, because they're better to bounce ideas off of, on and off air, obviously. And it's just great having someone else there, so that way I can take a mental break and have a chance to get my thoughts together and actually think about what I'm going to say. And it gives me a chance to really have more fun with this than I currently am. I'm having fun with this. I do like doing the podcast. It is the longest series on my channel. It's been around since, what was it, August 16th? Yeah, August 16th of 2015 is when the first episode was released. That's, holy snipes, that's been almost 3 years. Wow, this show is getting old. And we're at like 45 episodes. This is crazy. Man, I never thought I'd make it this far. But it'd be really nice to have that, and I'm currently looking for one. I've put that out on social media. I'm thinking about having auditions for that, because I want somebody who's not just gonna do this just here because it's just something to keep them occupied. Because this is eventually going to become a legit show that people are going to be listening to, probably maybe be paying for. I mean, I'm thinking about doing Patreon and whatnot for this kind of thing, for this. And thinking about turning it into a legit show, so making it, making more seasons or however you want to word it. But this is something people are eventually going to, go listen to on different sites and whatnot. And, we're going to get, hopefully, sponsors and whatnot to come through. So eventually we're going to get paid for this. But, in the meantime, I need somebody who's just as dedicated as I'm being right now. Because I need somebody who's going to motivate me, even because I have my days where I'm not motivated, and I have my peoples to motivate me. And I need that in this, because I also will motivate them in return as well on their days where they're not motivated. We can just motivate each other, because it's a team effort. The teamwork makes the dream work, as people say. And a co-host would definitely lighten the load on it, because it gives also a different perspective. I can have different perspectives on topics and do it all by myself. That's kind of what I've been doing. I've been trying to do, at least, because somebody's got to play the devil's advocate every once in a while, just to kind of spark a better conversation and get more questions out. And that's what a co-host would definitely add for me. that's why I'm trying to get one on here. You know, I look, nobody's answered yet, and I've had comments about it. You know, you should get more people on the show that make it more funny, and I'm working on it. I literally put out posts, anybody up for a podcast? I get no answers, so for now it's just me. So it's whatever. And I need somebody also whose schedule is open and flexible, because I'm being in the Army and also working a regular job. I get busy, and also trying to do this, I do get busy, and I am away sometimes for short to long periods of time. So I need somebody just there to help me out, you know, even though because when times get busy, it's going to come down to, you know, who do we stay motivated? Do we get stuff done? And I need somebody who's going to be there to get that stuff done. And also eventually I'm going to have a crew on this, because why not? You know, because that's what makes it so cool. Because recently I've been listening to a lot of radio shows and radio shows, more specifically sports podcasts and shows and whatnot. And the wonderful thing about those is that the crew gets a chance to chime in, you know, every once in a while, because you have other people who are answering calls, and you have the guys who are, you know, get the calls in. You have the guys who do some, you know, extra research in the back, and they get to throw their 2 cents in, you know, not even like occasionally. They get to do it like maybe every other podcast or every other radio show, or even every show that's done. That's what I like. It's the atmosphere of having a whole conversation with other people other than just me. Because that's what the podcast is now. It's just me, occasionally with a guest on. But I want to change that to where it's occasionally just me, and more often more other people. The hardest part about that is just finding people who are available for it, because availability is like such a hard thing to apparently come upon these days. So now it's just a matter of coordinating schedules so we can, you know, get this done, because I really want to do this. I really want to keep doing this. This is my favorite part of my channel right now, is this podcast. Let's plays, all that stuff, it doesn't even compare to how I feel about this podcast. This podcast is my bread and butter. It's like the best thing about this channel, and eventually I'm not going to be able to, you know, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that, but eventually one day I'm not going to be doing YouTube anymore, which is the truth for everybody, really. I want to stop doing it. I'm going to be bored of it. I'm not going to want to have to do it anymore. But this podcast is something I plan on holding on to for a while. Even after I'm done with YouTube, I plan on, you know, at least holding on to it as long as I can, because you never know how long that's going to be. But this is the best thing. This is the thing I love and enjoy. This is the thing that I have had like, I can say now, almost 3 years of experience doing podcasts, which is crazy to think about. And because I really didn't think about it until I looked on my channel, and I was like, oh wow. Because I pulled it up just for this, so I could see like how long I've been doing podcasts, how long it's been going on. And by now, and I looked through the transitions of how I've turned out, how the show has turned out, and it has its peaks and of course its lows. And right now it's at one of the low times, this is why I'm choosing this time to kind of regroup and revamp the show. Because right now not many people are watching it. It's not getting many views. It's not getting much attention, which is good for me, because now I can take the chance to make changes. And when it gets back to its, you know, peak season, people won't notice the changes until right about then, because that's when they'll start coming back and start listening to it more. Right now, little changes and stuff like that, they won't really affect it too much, because it's like, well, you know, it's a little change every here and every now and then. People won't really notice it as much, because there aren't that many people watching. But when there becomes, you know, just a pop in views because I talk about something, you know, a hot topic or something in pop culture, I guess, more people will watch it, more people will see it, and they'll be like, oh, this is a good show, because they'll notice the finished product rather than the work in progress. So if you are a person who is motivated, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a YouTuber to be my co-host. I don't really care. You can be a regular Joe who's just really into podcasts and loves it. If you have the same idea, you want to do podcasts for a career, you know, let me know. I'm looking for somebody who can do that, you know. Preferably, I mean, it doesn't have to be, but preferably like somebody who's kind of a nerd with gaming or sports, because I'm comfortable with talking about both those things. Anime, literature, like old, like, you know, old TV shows, music. Like, if you want to talk about something, if you guys, because I also look for suggestions too from you guys, because it helps me out, because it's less work I have to do with coming up with something, and then I can focus my attention all on researching and whatnot. But if you can talk about those kind of things, I mean, you're perfect for this job, and you definitely have something that we can work with. But if you fit the description that I gave, then pretty much, like, let me know, email me, you know, message me, shoot me a message. My email I'll put in the description, but it's mrgoof02@gmail.com. That is the email for this, for YouTube. So shoot me an email, shoot me a message, whatever. I check my messages frequently throughout the day when I can, when I'm on my breaks and whatnot, and I will get back to you as soon as possible, because we will have like a trial, like a little trial by fire, because we got to see how you do. And we'll do a podcast. We'll basically shooting from the hip. We'll be going off the top of our heads, seeing how you kind of flow through. And I want to, because those are the things I really have to know, like how do you do with just going from nothing, because how you do that really depends on your success here, because doing the research and stuff like that, that is also work. That is also work. Researching is not the easiest thing, but it's not the hardest thing either. But I want to know how you do with your improv skills, basically. How do you do with coming up with nothing? Because sometimes this technology does not want to work. There's plenty of times where technology has kind of crapped out on us, crapped on me here, and I've had to kind of go off of just me until the website or whatever starts working again. And I got to see where you are with that. So if you're interested, if anybody's interested, and anytime, and auditions aren't on a certain date, they're until I find a satisfactory candidate. So go ahead, feel free to shoot me an email, send me a message on Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media you have me on. Just let me know. Even tell me in the comments and whatnot on this video, on this episode, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. So thanks everybody so much for listening to this. This has just been an update on what's going on. This is just about the future of the show. I hope that the future of the show is positive. I know it's going to be positive. I gotta keep a positive outlook on that. I know it's going to be good. We're going to get somewhere. We're going to be successful, and it's going to be thanks to you guys, because you guys are the support for all this. And it's thanks to you guys that I could even be good at this. So thank you guys so much for listening. Be sure to share this around with your friends and family and whoever else you might think might like it. Be sure to leave a like on this video, leave a comment on this video if anything I talked about today interested you. Let me know topics you want me to talk about: gaming, sports, anime, literature, TV shows, childhood toys or whatever. Anything nostalgic that hits your mind, music. Let me know, and I will do some research, and I will talk about it. So, thanks everybody again so much for listening, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.